Alright, hello, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be recording a game I really love called the Banner Saga. It's essentially kind of like a Viking, Nordic, myth, epic. It's actually planned to be a trilogy. I'm going to try to see if I can get through this game, maybe do some of the second game, I don't know yet. Plays a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics or XCOM. It's a turn-based grid strategy game. And it also plays a lot like Oregon Trail. So you can die of dysentery. I mean, not literally, but there's a lot of consequences of making sure that you have enough resources and things when you're traveling from place to place. And there's decisions that you have to make along the way. So it's a really interesting, unique combo of game styles. And definitely a win as far as how they executed it. And a lot of the art style is kind of like that classic Disney art. I believe they actually had somebody from Disney help make this, a retired guy. I'm not 100% sure in there, don't quote me. But beautiful artwork, great music score, and yeah, just all around freaking fantastic game. So let's get into it, see how it plays. The gods are dead. In their wake, man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance, driving back destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped. The sun. Dun dun dun. Yeah, we're not going to get into the physics of how that can't work. It's kind of like the olden days, though, when like the gods controlled the sky and everything.
Að sjá dreggjan á ferli neðar vor. It has been several long months on the road. The first signs of snowfall accost us on our approach to Strand, largest of the trade cities on the Val-human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital.
Love the voice acting in this. There's not very much. This is like one of the few parts
Several
of the voice
days
acting.
ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds.
So if you're not familiar with
by stranded travelers about
the
brigands
concept
on
of
the path through
Ragnarok,
which
it's like the endless
our
winter.
road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
And the Varls are basically giants, so they're extra tall people. And they have horns, so they're kind of almost like trolls in a way, too.
Komið skjótt! Komið í höllina miklu! Skýst ég leyfa oss að syngja!
Uh-oh. Now would be about the time people start shitting their pants. Holy shit! Now it jumps straight into the game. This is kind of like a tutorial, I think. Alrighty. Yada yada yada. Alright. I know how all this works. Yeah, I'll just take him out. So basically what it's trying to explain is, they have armor and strength. So the strength is their health, and it also determines how much damage they do. And then the armor reduces the amount of damage that is dealt to the strength. So it's a really good system because the units, as they get injured, they become weaker. But because my guy has a bunch of armor, he can't do anything to him, really. And then they also have, like, special attacks that they can do, and you have a bunch of unique characters. And you have willpower, which is kind of like extra effort points. It allows them to move further and use their special attacks or abilities. So this guy has like a whirlwind attack. Boom! And then when there's only one enemy left, it goes, instead of like taking turns every time, it goes to pillage mode, where you have all of your guys go and then the last guy gets to go. So they have almost kind of like a boss fight mode for like certain enemies. Ooh, I can just put a point of willpower in there and finish them off. Doink. Piece of cake. Well, that's the basics of the combat system. It's simple, but very... how to put it? Robust.
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and var slaughter each other, even before the dreads arose.
Ooh.
All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more dreads to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. A dozen families in the city would gladly take my chair. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade. Quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his lust. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight, and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
Excellent. Alrighty. Chapter 1. Only the sun has stopped. Alright, so here we get into some of the more of the Oregon Trail aspect of the game. You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Eric, steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business. Ubin, isn't it? It is. The governor tells me you'll be giving us a hand. What did you have in mind? Oh. Hold on a second. Skull things that you didn't hack up in the Great Hall scattered after you took out their chieftain. The governor just wants to make sure that they stay down. Was hoping you'd join me at the marketplace by the docks. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. Alright. Let's go down to the market. Let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-face houses and eroded stalls. Colored canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular blanches as you approach. Ad, I'm not in the mood today. For what? Talking to an idiot. The Skullfing's chieftain bled out an hour ago. Ad. So, when you tell me what rat anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's gonna try to kill you this time. They don't talk to me. Need some help here? I had a change of heart. I hope you do give us a hard time. Sweat's visibly fumbling with some dirty trinkets on his table. That guy's really big. Wait, just buy one of these. If everybody thinks I'm getting worked over every week, how am I supposed to know much? Just a little food money, yeah? Sure. You toss a sliver of silver on the table. Both men look at you with surprise. Had gestures meekly to a variety of junk from his stall. Take whatever you like. Only thing I'd like is the name of a place. Nobleman, up by the east wall, but that was months ago, last I know. Had skulks away with a wave of Eric's hand, gathering things from his hovel, disappearing for a while until this blows over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. Are we done here? Gunnulf, you wearing green back at the Great Hall? Nope. Just bought them while we were walking around. Why? They look good. I'm glad you care. Gunnulf goes off to look at some more stalls. Eric, that man of yours seems unreliable at best. A blind dog wouldn't trust Had, but he used to be skulking. If they're licking their wounds, they've probably gone to old haunts, not new ones. Nobleman is a mead hall? Best I can tell. The name's ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of these skulls in the ground. I'm gonna find him. I'll meet you there. Shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? What a luxury. Come on. You've already mopped up worse today. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise. Double the usual tithe. I'll remind him. Oh. Alrighty. And I really like this. These map screens are really cool. You get to see all the nice backgrounds and everything, and all the little details they put into the towns and how they look. I also like how all the writing is like kind of looks runic, but it's you can still read it. You arrive in front of what must be noblemen. A few minutes later, Eric appears with a weather-beaten man introduced as Valgard. I'll point them out, Eric says over his shoulder. Ready? Let's get this over with. That's the spirit, says Valgard. Okay, here we go. Valgard boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Eric is already at the head of the table, his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, drunken skulfings scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and mead steins in the process. Woo! Let's get to some killing. Alrighty. I think I can move my guys around, can't I? Yeah, a little bit. That should be good. Let's go. So I don't want to rush in there just yet to get that guy, but I will come over here and end turn. So I want to try to draw them in a little bit first. Now, can you click on these guys to see what their movement range is? Yeah. Okay. So I can safely go here. You can't get me. So now, big dude, I'll definitely move forward because he can take a hit. Now, he doesn't have any exertion. Interesting. But he can't use his willpower to move further, but he does have his special attacks. And I want to try to keep him in the back, I think. Have him run forward later. Just gonna have you rest. There we go. Actually, let's move you over here. So that way their shields lock up and they can phalanx. Alright, now we're gonna get to some fun parts. Let's get to some violence. So I can start tearing down these guys' armor with this guy. And that'll make the big dudes be able to do more damage and hit harder. Goodbye. Ugh. Oof. Yeah, see, now they're going to start going after him because he does all the damage. Yeah, let's just chew through some more armor. Ouch. They seem to be relatively ignoring this guy. Ouchies. Yeah, let's finish this guy off. Yeah, I had a feeling they were all gonna go after him. Oh, he doesn't have the Tempest attack, does he? Crap. Oh yeah, he does. There we go. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Got some joint damage there. Let's see. Finish this guy off. And this guy has the most armor. Oh, can't get to anybody. Crap. I gotta get Gunolf out of the way. I'll just move him over here. Ooh, he hit his own guy. Interesting tactic. Take care of that guy. No, Gunolf is down. Now they don't die as long as you win the combat. So they'll get back up later. Yeah, let's just take out the rest of this guy's armor. Ha 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 ha. And you're down. Goodbye. Nicely done. Eat a dick. Gunolf has been injured. Oh yeah, they have to recover for a little while. It takes some time. They have to rest. There they are. Gods be damned. I've got to go wash off this blood. Eric is looking out the hall's windows onto the bay. A fleet of longships approach with sails of bold reds and blues. One banner I know well, Vognir. Next for Varl Kingship last we spoke. The other flag looks important. Yeah, important guests. See what I deal with all day long? Ah, things make a little more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying, everything's fine here when the royal guests arrived. Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure that there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favor? What is it? If you happen to stall our guest down at the docks, I wouldn't object. Maybe I will. Eric and Valgard hustle from the mead house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to greet the new arrivals down at the docks. Ooh, fancy. Vognir. A familiar Varl steps into the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version, tramping through the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. God, Zubin, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old. And if there's Vognir, there must be Hakon. Must there? Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid old Yaks? At what age do you lose your sense of shame? Jornder demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arborang, in fact. I'm glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering, golden wolf head emblazoned on the red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. The king's son, Luden. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital. He visits ours. That's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. And you're going to Grofheim? I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Moger? Hakon. Have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading up to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few. Others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to see Moger. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world, the sort of boy who grew up pulling his legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. Spiders! Is that this game's way of saying that he's a little pansy? Weariness subtly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Wagner's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. Let's go talk to Hakon. He seems cool. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon? Wagner is the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. Well, you already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha! Humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yaks fart, I might be desperate to make something of myself, too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known for as far as cutting a swath through Dredge at Wagner's side in a second war, and regularly since then. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the mead house becomes overbearing and then step back to the cool air outside. So Hakon's like some type of legendary warrior. Just the right place. You find a prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes, you're with Wagner. I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Wagner a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. A Varl historian? Don't you already know? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities. I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Luden takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both. A formality, mostly. Wagner came to our capital in Aberang, and now we go to the Varl's capital in Grofheim to cement this grand alliance for the next age of men in Varl. You sound unconvinced. There's no need for it. It's a damned cold up here. You get a sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Yeah, he's definitely afraid of bugs. At dawn, you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell when the sun that never moves. The governor crests adorns a supply leathers. And there, just as promised, to your mild surprise, you wonder if Eric had anything to do with it. Plus 20 renown! Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Wagner is already here. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Moger steps forward, Wagner's quartermaster. If you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors, you know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. Yep, we are ready. You follow Moger and join the others. Usually the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw the crowd, but there's nothing of the sort, just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strandwell as a whole, you think. And we're off. So now you can see you got days of supplies, how many barrels and fighters, clansmen, what your renown is, and then how many days have gone by in the game. And then they set off to travel throughout the area. Sometimes there's things you can like click on or look at too out here. But this is the kind of Oregon Trail aspect of the game. Caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Marger, cracking open mead casks. From our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout the camp. Toast to Wagner. You raise your drink, toasting the alliance between man and Varl. The others join in. Luden's expression is like a stone wall, but the others laugh at your exaggerations. Eventually, you sit down beside Wagner. We'll have a chat. Thanks for the speech. Looks like you didn't have to miss out after all. Thanks to Moger. I thought the damned governor would never shut up. Did he give you the history of his entire family? He tried. Then he asked me to clean up his mess. For your benefit, turns out. I'd have given the job to you, too. Gods, there's no joy in politics. Speaking of, what happens after this business with Luden? Hopefully the boy goes back to Arborang on his own, and I can take out some frustrations on Dredge or something. Starting to sound like Hakon. You don't like the life of a diplomat? Don't you miss the fight, Ubin? You down your meat instead of replying. Wagner slouches and shakes his head. There's no great joy in killing Dredge, but this... Pretty sure this nonsense is some scheme between the two kings to force some kind of lineage. Used to be, warriors would follow you for what you'd done. Isn't that why they follow you now? Is it? Or is it because I'm next in line? These lines are getting muddy, old Varl. They've always been muddy, Wagner. Wagner stares into the campfire, lost in thought. You leave him to it. You rise groggily, the campsite of a casualty of merriment. Moger is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Luden stalking your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up! You nudge Wagner. You're needed. Ah, Luden, always a pleasure. You look well rested. Wagner releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on the map. Ah. This is the map of the world. The location of your caravan is indicated here by Ubin's icon. The world map is covered with many locations and holds much lore. You can explore the map at any time, clicking on locations for more information. So, Grofheim is way up here. Last home of the Varl and seat of their power, founded by Arnfenir, the second Varl king. Though the Varl have moved around a lot, most consider Grolfheim their capital. The deeds of the Varl are honored here, and all warriors of worth are buried at the foot of the two spears, where they are said to become part of Varl's Smarch itself. Alrighty. It's quite a distance. We head north, then east, past the forts. Grolfheim's far from Strand. Going to be a long march. Should have drank last night, Luden. Why not take the ships to... Jesus, how the fuck do you pronounce that? Skiermirstead. What's the point of marching? The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skiermirstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge, Prince. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Don't poke the anthill, Wagner. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spend a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off to. Luden's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Wagner. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vedrefell, if we're lucky. Are we there yet? Alright. So, click the heroes tent. Sure, why not? One or more of your heroes' units is injured. Injured units can still fight, but they have a penalty to max strength equal to the number of days wounded. They heal as time passes when resting in camp. So he's got to rest 2 days. Click on units to view stats, promote ranks, and learn about abilities. Alrighty. He's got the Tempest thingy. And he needs some exertion, but he doesn't have any points available because he hasn't leveled up. So they level up, and then you can put points into their various stats. And kind of customize them as you play through the game, which is a really cool system. And there's only the 5 stats to worry about, and then they also get to pick like specialties after you max out a stat, which is really neat. And you can also read about them and figure out like what their history is and like how many units you've killed throughout the game with each person. And then this is like their kill count, so after they kill this many people they'll level up, etc, etc. And they're currently all level 1. Alrighty. And we're gonna rest for 2 days to get the morale up, and then hopefully Gunnulf should be fully healed now. Yep. Ta-da! Bingo! Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this first episode here. We'll definitely continue on. I want to try to get from like camp to camp approximately in each episode, depends on how much is going on. I'll try to keep them not too long for the episodes. And we'll see if I can get through this game without horribly effing it up. This is one of those games where it's pretty easy to like make mistakes and lose characters. So we'll see if I can Oregon Trail correctly. It's been a hot minute. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.